Welcome and a big hello, especially to our MatchChain fam. I'm Aaron, a long-term contributor to the MatchChain, and today's AMA is really special for us. We're just days away from dropping our first post-TGE roadmap, and we've been listening to your community feedback. Last week, we ran a poll to see what you wanted us to cover today, and the top pick was roadmap and new features, with MatchID really close behind. And when we asked what products and features you're most excited for, 47% of you said AI analytics with MatchAI, and 30% of you said staking. So I'm joined here today with MatchChain CEO Petrix, and just yesterday, Petrix, you posted a thread that really set the tone. Why DIDs matter, why identity is the future, not just for people, but for businesses, cars, real estate, cities, even institutions. So today we have a lot of ground to cover, and we're going to try to pull all that vision into a focus as we begin to talk about what's coming next. In this first of many AMAs, we'll answer the community questions directly from our audience. So with all that said, let's jump into the first question. In your thread, Petrix, you painted a huge vision, identity not just for people, but for physical assets, organizations, and even cities. Why don't you get started just by telling the folks hello and then jumping right into what they're asking for. When the roadmap drops later on, can you talk about what changes people will start to see immediately versus what we're planning for later?
Absolutely, Aaron. Thank you for your warm intro for all topics. And yes, I can vouch and sign on it. You've been a very long-term supporter, and we are super happy to have you with us here in the chat and handling and hosting this AMA on Telegram with our beautiful community. There's a lot of things coming, 100% sure, but there's no much different than we always already not promised, but we are always envisioned. Because again, imagine like a journey, a company, or a trip. If you're driving from, let's say, from Portugal to Netherlands, you can see Netherlands, but you know that your final destination is Netherlands. We know over here that our final destination is identity sovereignty and data sovereignty. People be able to monetize from using the internet. All the data, all the wealth of the internet that is paid and sent to big companies to be redistributed to every single of us that own your data. But in order to do that, we need to own the data first. And to own the data first, we need a decentralized identity. And this decentralized identity needs to be interacting with everything around us on the internet, and to become even more and more valuable with the real world, with the external factors. So like I said, we're going to have a lot of things that are going to be published and set in the roadmap. Few things for this month, short term, for 3 months, for 6 months, and for the next 12 months. Many of those things we already have names and partners, but in the roadmap, we're going to just reveal the vision and the direction, and the partners whenever we come and whenever it's ready, we're going to announce some great names and some partners that we're still negotiating and some that are already closed. But again, everything to fulfill and to complete what I just said. The mission, the vision is the same, right? The reason and the why of MatchAin existence is the same. But now it's time to really get things in play, to really make things work. So, or at least to start to fail fast so we can recover and come back. So it's a great time to be around. It's as early as it can be. We are having a great moment. The industry is supporting. Big countries like United States and other bigger nations are supporting the change. It's becoming inevitable. And in order to become inevitable, we need to become too big. Now, we don't say that. If I will go a little bit more macro and philosophical, it's difficult to say that crypto will be banned from the world because China is saying so when you have the United States supporting so much, creating the crypto council and trying to become the crypto hub of the world. So what we know for a fact is that crypto will not be going anywhere. Blockchain is here to stay. And if blockchain and crypto is here to stay, it's because it was validated by someone that is too big to be denied. like the United States. This is what we all have to do here with Matchain and DID. If you all believe in this vision, we need to all have a DID, all have a MatchID, all be part of Matchain. So we have the mission in place, walking and moving to that direction that will gonna become too big, that those big corporations will reject or deny, and still try to sell our data when we have millions and millions and millions of people and the dream of a billion of people someday deciding that my data is mine, I own my data, and I decide how I monetize it. So all they join us, or they will not have any other thing to do. This is a long time process, and we count on everyone that work with us towards this mission and vision to have the identity sovereignty so we can finally own our data. And now I let you talk and carry on, Aaron.
No, that was a great response, Petrix. Thank you. It does sound like the first step after realizing the vision is making DIDs truly usable, not just on paper, but in live products across all our different verticals. And that brings me to my next question. Specifically, some decentralized identity projects, they stay stuck in theory, but you've been hitting at real products in DeFi.
You're back now. Okay, sorry, Aaron. I lost you for a few seconds. I'm not sure if it was me or if it was everyone.
Sounds like a Telegram is trying to get us today. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Well, I'll jump in back to my second question. Especially with decentralized identity, a lot of projects in the space that are stuck in theory. And you've been talking about different products, especially in your thread yesterday. You talked about DeFi and AI and RWAs and even more. How are we making sure at MatchChain that these aren't just separate experiments, but they'll actually work together so people can start seeing value from day one?
Yes, for sure. I think I even put a tweet out there yesterday when I talk about it. Big problem that we have in the industry, or not in the industry, this is a world problem, mindset. We don't go anywhere. You cannot achieve anything alone. That's clear, right? I learned this since a baby based on my background prior to this industry. And in order to achieve this big mission, this big vision, this big amount of people that will understand and be educated for the value, you need to unite. You need to combine forces. You cannot be good at everything. You must delegate to specialists, right? So you need to focus on what you're good and making sure that you can connect the dots with other people that are good or better than you in different areas. So that's what we will do always. Matchain, we are not looking here to take over or become a bigger, or let's say the biggest AI company and beat OpenAI or DeepSeek. Definitely not. But what I'm really envisioning here to do is to partner with all of them if they come and can add value to the same mission, but also provide data to them from MatchID if necessary for their product so they can improve. But in order to get this data, they have to pay the users, because now they get this data from YouTube, from Alphabet, from other companies. Those companies make a lot of money, and the user is just a horse, it's just a sheep. So yes, Matchain will be the traffic. We want to combine, support, partner with all companies in different industries as much as possible so we can empower each other towards the same vision, focus on the user, focus on the human behind generating this data, this intelligence. So not sure if I responded well your question, but yeah, that's it.
No, I think that's you painted the picture beautifully. We're not just building standalone products. We're building this connected identity layer, and really every action adds to the value of your Match ID. So really good job at answering that question. You mentioned your thread again. So one thing you said in that thread that really stuck with some people on X, you mentioned no rent seeking middleman. Can you unpack that? Like in practice, how will MatchID give fans, brands, developers, and builders more control? And how does that tie into a holistic ecosystem, maybe Mat utility?
Yeah, 100%. It's very important for everyone to know that we are working hard to create the meaning of a real token utility like never we had before. So MAT is to be the data currency, the currency for happening everything in the ecosystem to unlock perks, to if you want to sell or publish your data. If companies want to request data, they have to request it with MAT to pay you back. So the system and the vision is designed to create incredible demand in the world, because this is not just about, let's say, cupcakes. This is the whole diary, the whole dessert menu. This is the whole restaurant. This is everything. So MAT needs to be attached to everything. And to going back to your point, when I say that, let's give an example. If I'm launching a game, let's say in Nigeria, right? If I'm gonna launch a game and I want to target people from Nigeria, I'm gonna go and ask directly to Alphabet or ask companies that have products on those countries with a big user base and they can share their behavior with me. So I pay the company talk or investigate or read the user behavior and then share. This company is the middleman. No, I don't want this anymore. We don't want this anymore. Nobody should want this anymore, right? That's the meaning of sovereignty. So how would be the flow from that? Companies forget the middleman. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Companies forget the middleman. They go directly to MatchAI platform and they ask, who are people interested in games in Nigeria or in Africa or whatever is your target zone? And AI directly will filter everyone that is doing and using and playing applications or connected or bound stuff on MatchID and our platforms, and it will give you directly, this is the address of the person that you are really targeting, that is your person of interest. If you want to reach this person, you have to pay XYZ amount in MAT. So this is company directly to customers, clubs directly to fans. Business directly to clients. So this is the most human approach you can have. Cut the middleman, trust blockchain for the fairness and transparency, and AI for the evaluation. And that's it. Everything else is not in the hands of a single human deciding anything for you. Those are technologies and solutions implemented, and AI making sure that the right people are being matched, right? We match people to companies. We provide in the future, as soon as we have a more robust user and worth database, we can offer this to big scale. So these big names and companies, they can reach out directly to the industry, to the users, without have to tap into me or to any other person. The system happens by itself alone. So that's what I try to say, like you said, to unpack it a little bit, what I envision.
Amazing. Yeah, you really do paint this vision where Match ID gives people the ability to own their keys and leverage the brands that they interact with to pay them, and basically in Matt to access your verified signals that they do across different engagements. It's a really promising picture. Without spoiling the whole reveal of what's coming in the roadmap, what's one DID use case that you expect will get the fastest adoption in maybe our ecosystem or maybe just the broader industry throughout the year?
Yes, I mean, if you think about sovereignty, the sovereignty is not just about uh, the human; it's about everything that touches us. So, like I mentioned on my thread yesterday, we we interact with many other things than just people. We interact with companies. We interact with cities. We interact with let's say physical goods, we interact with properties. So in order for all of those things to have direct access and the middleman to get out of the way and you have this direct action, we need everything to have a decentralized identity. So I'm not biased, but I'm just defending what I believe. So we have meme coins, we have like many waves and trends, and I believe the most meaningful, not the biggest wave or trend, maybe will be the biggest wave and the biggest trend next, but I believe for certainty that the most meaningful one, next wave or trend, which is not hit yet, is the DIDs. And I believe that there's nobody with our mindset, with our infrastructure, with our access and resources. Why? Because we are on Matchain, our DID, we are not creating a single invasive solution. If you're already doing something like that, we don't mind. You can even use and aggregate into MatchID. What we really want to do is create a single source of truth of all identities. And this single source of truth will price you. So if you ask me what is the DID sector that I'm most interested on, it's difficult to say, but I don't want to spoiler much, like you mentioned. But I will emphasize something that is really cool that everyone already knows that is coming, which is the player ID. Player ID is something fantastic. It's still
I think
hello,
we
I'm
I
back.
think we may have lost you there for a second. You were just talking
Yeah, I
about
saw.
player ID.
Voila, voila. So player ID is something that I'm extremely excited because I see the vision that we had before. Hello, guys. Apologize. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I will try to continue. Player ID is something that I see now being built with the fantastic partners that we have around us that came to us as well after our announcement to join forces. And that's the mentality and the mindset that I'm looking to work with. It's becoming something fantastic and amazing. And then I think Player ID itself is $1 billion business alone. And we can create many million and $1 billion business alone from many DIDs. And those DIDs, I will make sure that are always minimum way attached at least with our ecosystem, with the tokens from those projects and with the main token from Matchain. So I think that's all what I want to give as a spoiler right now, Aaron. But I really in love with what's coming from the player ID.
Thank you, Petrix. I didn't mean to put you on the spot with some alpha, but the community, we got to try. We got to try for them. So you mentioned player ID, and that brings me to my next question. Last month we announced MatchAI, and we've been slowly talking about it on our timeline. How does MatchAI fit into this multi-vertical plan?
Yes, Match AI. I think if people has more questions about it, I'm even happier to respond and to discuss about it. We're gonna do some more interactive videos to explain about Match AI, to show use cases, to break it down. Aaron, take notes on that. We need to do this to break down like in 10 chapters, in 10 video clips, utilities and examples on how people will be able to use Match AI. So MatchAI, as you can see, is the intelligence layer. So imagine MatchID as the sponge, the aggregator, the accumulator, right? And MatchAI is what will give life to that. Is what will give you the intelligence. Is what make sure that we will be able to interpret, to make the interpretation correctly of that information, of their data from every single user. So now you can see, because I am personally extremely excited to check who I am in the digital world and connect with my live data points outside of the digital world as well. How worthy I am, what are my qualities, and how can I monetize better from that, right? It's like if you go to, I don't know, psychologist or something like this and they say yes, or someone will read your future or your horoscope and say those are your characteristics, you're good on these, you need to invest more time on that, and so on. But this is with real facts, right? With your real life. And that's how can we improve, that's how can you have better results and better conversion. So if this works for you, imagine how this can work for a company or for a football club or for a brand. That's why MatchAI is so important. That gives you clarity, that shows you who are you, let's say, in totality, based on your actions and your behaviors.
Beautiful. Let's move on to the next question then. What are the next concrete steps and milestones on the roadmap for implementing MatchAI? The community has been asking a lot of questions about what comes next, and how we're going to be looking at adoption of MatchAI. Can you talk a little bit on that?
Absolutely. So this is a very cautious and step that you need to take with very care, because we don't. It's not about margin of errors. It's about getting this right. I'm back.
You're back.
Okay. So my point is the implementation of Match AI right now. It's about do this the right steps slowly and trying to make the fewer mistakes as possible. The faster we make mistake, the better, but we don't want many mistakes at once, right? So we're gonna start to implement this as a simple dashboard so the users can start to understand and see what is being there from the financial behavior, from the wallets, from the social medias, and etc. and so on, but also making sure that it's more valuable for companies, because it's difficult for me to come and request a data from someone and pay something. It's easier for a company, which way bigger amount of money and way bigger products to offer, to reach us out, to pay us. So I want you to get paid to monetize, and I want those companies to buy MAT as the currency to pay you back. So I think the next step in implementation for MatchAI is to create a robust dashboard and platform for enterprises, so enterprises can understand the value from the users, from the community, how this MatchID dashboard for enterprises can save their money, can cut them costs, and can give them better results, right? And these better results will depend on us, right? So I think this is, even if someday when this on the roadmap, this day arrives, that you receive a notification from a company that is requesting your data in certain segment, you should be the one that will give your best back, because we must prove the concept. We must prove to those companies that the investments they request are worth it, right? So it's us working together to prove a point, so we can have our sovereignty, we can have our data independency. So I think this is the next steps. Some for the user, for the community, but I wanted the user and the community to be found, to be paid. And to do this, I need more Ps and more brands. So we're gonna focus a lot on company, brands, partners, enterprises, and dashboards.
Good stuff. So it sounds like first step is getting Match AI out of the lab and into the hands of more people, and lining up integrations that go alongside with our milestones, and showing AI and identity how they can work together in the real world, in providing value back to the users and the brands and the enterprises that are using it, so that you paint a really complete picture there. Um, we're about a little bit over the halfway mark, so I'm going to ask some shorter questions here. You just mentioned that we're partnering with different brands, different types of enterprises. Any hints on new vertical specific partnerships? Again, you don't have to be specific. The community is just asking for any type of guidance that you can give here.
No, yes, absolutely. So you can, the community can expect a variety of partners incoming soon and for the next years and so on. We need to make sure that we do properly, the community back us up and everyone support. So the current partners serve as example, serve as a use case so we can attract more. Imagine, guys, the goal is not here for us to pay sponsorships or to pay for companies to join. We want a company paying us and to pay us to join, to have MatchID as service, to have access to your personal data. They have to pay you. They have to pay us in MAT. And in order for this to happen, we need to prove that it's worth it, that the use case is there. So who is our main partner right now, for example? It's PSG, right? In order for PSG to promote and show to the world that is worth it and call their friends and say, you all should be using Matchain and MatchID and join blockchain, we need to make it worth it for them. So it's on our hands how we want to build wealth, how we want to follow and support this mission right now. So I'm just making this point because this is going to reflect on every single new partner that is coming. And it's not just about football. I always say we are not a sports chain. We're not a football chain. We are a people's chain. And if we are a people's chain, we need to go with partners that can reach mass amount of people. So we are going there. We are getting partners in different angles, okay? To be as diverse as possible. Data is only valuable and worthy if we have diversity to complete each other different angles. And that's what I can tell you. Okay, I don't want to spoil too much because it can go very narrow, but we're not going to stay only on sports. We're going to bring different angles and different partnerships into play for Matchain.
Awesome. You on X and in your thread yesterday and constantly on social, you're always saying my DMs are open, especially to builders and enterprises. What builders do you want to connect the most with right now? Who are you excited to talk to?
Well, I'm very, like I said, very open-minded, diverse, and we need everyone. So basically, everyone that is building a protocol or a game or a solution for an important problem that needs users, that we want to reach a large user base, you need to come to us. You need to build over here. There's no point for you to build. I'm not competing with any other chain. I want to make this clear. If I can partner, support, and connect with other chains as we are already working on to do, I will always. But we have this silo problem, this island dilemma everywhere, especially on our industry, especially with chains. So there's no point for you to build in a chain that has no transactions, no users, there's no wallets, there's no way for conversion. So if you want to build something that will be used, come over here, join us. Our community is very strong. It's very young, it's very new, and we have access to many more people. Our P and our brands, only PSG alone, gives us access for now and on with our products being implemented to over 500 million people across the world. Is 500 million. This is not a joke. We are aiming right now to have partners and new IPs and new brands that will give us access to 1 billion people from their network. And then it's on us to convert it. And how we convert this, Aaron, with applications. So guys, build your application, build your app, build your social media, build your game, build your DeFi application on Matchain, because we're going to work to bring you traffic. That's the reason why.
Beautiful, beautiful. Moving on to the next section of the AMAs before we close out, we received a lot of questions about MAT utility and different incentives. So last question before we close it out. We want to address some of the frequent ones that we get the most. One user asked what's holding up the full usage of Matt token, while Mike in our MatchChain fan kind of rephrases that question to what is MatchAI's monetization strategy, and how is that going to create sustainable demand for Matt token? I don't think you have to answer this all in one go, and maybe we can set up for a follow-up in another AMA, but what would you like to say to that, to Matt token users?
For sure. Like, there's no problem. I love this question because people need to understand that we are creating it's those are not promises, those are targets. Okay, we work for a reason. Like, I know that I'm driving from, like, example, from Florida to New York. I can't see New York, but I'm driving that direction. Maybe I will turn left and right. Meanwhile, maybe I'm gonna have a flat tire in the journey. But that's what you're driving to. So MatchAI is one of the products that will help us to bring the mass utility to MAT token. We want a MAT token to become the main utility token of the industry. Like, we all love Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the godfather. We still don't know what is the utility of Bitcoin besides of like a store of value, right? I want a MAT. We are working for MAT to have a strong utility. And one of the utility is inside the MatchAI for sure. But for this token to have utility, MatchAI must have value. For MatchAI to have value, we need data. And this data must be implemented and have a strong dashboard, an enterprise dashboard, and show their companies how many users we can bring to them, or what they will learn using MatchAI and MatchID from their clients, from their customers, from their fans. So next step is we will attach MAT to every single angle, from advertisements, from subscription mode, from freemium mode, from maintenance, from unlocking new features. You need to have extra MAT or holding or staked. So we always, for governance, for decision on projects, for decision on how to monetize your own data, for decision on next unlocks. So MAT going to be attached at every single angle as much as possible. But we need to create the value first, and the value comes from one product, and the second one from the utility and the users. So that's it.
Awesome. I know we're getting close to the end of time. On behalf of myself, Petrix, the entire MatchChain family, I want to say thank you to the community and to everybody for showing up and participating today. Shout outs to everybody who gave us awesome questions. We'll be looking forward to more questions and answering them in the future as the roadmap drops. We'll be hosting another AMA to give you a personal one-on-one interaction with Petrix and the rest of the team to follow up with more questions. Petrix, before we close out, final words, last statement, anything you want to say before we close the space?
Yes, I just would like to say big mass thank you for everyone that joined, that take your time of the day. Maybe you're working, maybe you're driving, maybe you set up alarm to listen to us. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for being over here. I ask you to be even more present on everything else that we're going to do. We're going to try to be more live on YouTube, on Twitter, or X per se, on Telegram, and as many social media as possible, to give you more clarity and information. What you can rest assured that this is just the beginning. MatchChain is not going anywhere. We are reshaping, revamping, we are adapting, we are changing, but never changing the mission, never changing the vision. So I want to say thank you for everyone to stay over here. And please, I want you closer. All comments, all critics, or compliments, they are valid, but I don't take any compliments serious. I put heads down and we work hard, as I don't take any critical serious as well, because we know that we're working with all our heart and with the best intention. So thank you very much for your support, and that's all what I have to say today.
That's a great place to leave it. Everybody, until next time, thank you for joining, and we'll see you on chain and in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.